facility in South Haven, Mississippi, and we ship parts worldwide from this facility. Terex consists of quite a few different divisions of the Terex Corporation. We're in front of the warehouse facility, which houses office personnel and the warehouse that stores parts for quite a few divisions of Terex Corporation. It's a large facility consisting of over 500,000 square feet, and we ship parts out of here 6 days a week. We are now inside the Terex warehouse, where the large volumes and many different types of parts are stored, picked, packed, and shipped to our customers. Our customers are able to place orders via online systems, and we have various automation facilities in place to support the volume that we have today and the volume we expect to get in the not so distant future. One of our newest areas in the warehouse facility is for Clark distribution parts. The area we're seeing now is not currently completed for use in production mode, and we have 2 levels in this area that have conveyor systems that will stretch from the stocking locations, and the parts will then be able to travel to their destination to where they will be packaged and made available for the shipping process. Behind this conveyor system, we see the large green bins that are empty in anticipation for the Clark parts to be stored.
My name's Matt Martin, and I'm here today to show you our computer room area. And where I'm standing right now is where the mainframe used to be located. Terex has recently gone into an agreement with Litton Computer Services to provide the hardware processing environment, and we're wanting to take a look at the environment that was in place and did the processing for a period of almost 5 years for the worldwide hardware.
As I stated earlier, the processor is gone, but we do have a need to continue supporting the processing environment here at the South Haven location. Now we're in the operations area, which is usually staffed by one operator 24 hours a day, 6.5 days a week. This area is where users will call in and get support, and that is just one of the many tasks that the operations staff is responsible for taking care of on this processing environment.
We are prepared for natural disasters such as smoke and fire, and these systems that are in place can be controlled via these panels here. Here's one panel that controls some of the systems, and here's another panel that shows the layout of the computer room. And as I press this test switch, we can see lights that come on that indicate alarms for smoke detection devices. It's stopped.
Oh.
And this panel here does show the areas that we're going to look at today. This area is the operations area, which is where we are now. In fact, we're at this location. Here's the machine room where the mainframe equipment is housed, and this is the approximate location of where the CPU processor, which has been removed, was located. And then in these areas here are offices for the tech support personnel. All this is raised floor, and the 2 groups within MIS that are in this department are tech support and operations. Also located within the operations area of the raised floor area is a system printer, and for those that are calling for support for the Terex mainframe system, this may be one of the noisy devices that you hear in the background. I'm over here by a couple of offline devices that are used after printing on the system printer located on the other side of the operations area. These devices are used to split multi-part forms and tear pages into individual sheets. Here we have our decalator with invoices. We also decolate checks and other forms that need to be decalated. Okay. After a form has been decalated by the device back there, as this is an example, you can then load the form over here, as the operator has been able to do, and start the process of detaching the individual forms. We've had a quick look at many of the tasks that take place here in this operations area. We've only briefly covered them, and again, it's usually staffed by one person and their supervisor, in the evenings by just one person each evening. And what we'll do now is we'll go look at the equipment, the DASD, and other peripherals of the mainframe. These are our DASD devices, direct access storage devices. This is where the data is kept on these large blue boxes, the data that is used by online systems. As customers place orders, as Terex employees do inquiries and other functions on their computer devices, data has to be retrieved. And although several streams of devices are used, and this is where the data devices, in fact, many computing devices in today's environment don't have all the lights or the moving parts that we used to see many years ago. We can take a look inside one of the storage devices, the DASD devices we saw a moment ago. The data is stored on large planners. There are several of them in this device, and they spin constantly at high revolutions driven by this belt system. And data is read or accessed by seat heads that are located in this area, and they require low maintenance, and they're solid state devices. Also located in our DASD farm is an IBM AS400 processing complex. This particular AS400 is still in use in a production environment in supporting the parts sales applications. One of the important things in a computing environment is availability. Let's face it, customers, those who are using a computer, want it to be available. Well, this is a UPS, uninterrupted power supply. It's a piece of equipment that continually monitors and conditions power that is supplied to the computer and its devices or peripherals. The need for this is critical at Terex operations, and it is supported by large batteries that are located in another location within this facility. And in the event that we have problems with power, dirty power or loss of power, this device will kick in and maintain the operations of the computer. We've been able to see the operations area, the equipment area, and now we're in the office area. I'm sitting at my desk. That these areas are all on the raised floor. They're all in the halon protected environment, which we will take a look at. And it's tech support, which consists of 4 people and 4 offices in this area. The UPS device we saw earlier is a piece of equipment that will help us in case of a power failure in case of an environmental problem to keep our systems going. Well, if there's a fire or something, you obviously may not have to be able to keep your systems going, and you want to retard or put out the fire quickly. Here is a tank that holds halon that would disperse halon in the upper portions of this room. There's also a tank located below the floor that would disperse halon below the floor, and there are sensing devices located in the ceilings and also below the floor. And this tank is also controlled and monitored by the panel that we saw back in the operations area. Supporting the mainframe requires a large library of manuals. We are fortunate enough to have these blue right line binders that make it easy to access and identify the appropriate manual in the event of a problem we're trying to resolve, or even while we're trying to implement new solutions in the mainframe computing environment. We're now going to take a look at our communications equipment. This is a IBM 3745 communications controller, commonly known as a front-end processor. It's a traffic cop of data, information that is coming into this mainframe environment or leaving to the remote locations across the country and even in other nations. This is the device that's a traffic cop that controls the flow of data in and out of this facility. Here we have our modem cabinet, and this is also a vital link into our communications. Along the top are modems that are used by dial-in access. Our customers will dial in, and I can see this particular one is in use by seeing the lights on it. Below we have leased line modems that go to carriers, network providers, GEIS, Telenet. We have, in this down here, dial-in modems that are used by IBM AS400s for Fruhoff's human resource applications. And then comes the lease lines such as to Waverly, Chattanooga, Tulsa, Southfield, and also we have a wiring system that supports PC devices in a LAN environment. Some of our newest communications equipment is the IDNX box, and it serves as communication links and was introduced with the Litton Computer Services communication environment last month. Another major component of our connectivity to Litton Computer Services is the channel extension device. Here we have the AT&T Paradigm channel extender. This supports the local terminal equipment in this facility. We have 5 communications controllers that support the local terminals at this facility. The 3174 communications controllers located next to each other and stacked on racks. These devices hook directly into the AT&T Paradigm channel extender device that we saw a moment ago. And another major piece of communications is our telephone switching system. This supports all the telephone activity incoming and outgoing for this facility. For all you pasta lovers, here's our spaghetti. All that equipment has to be attached, and we have patch panels, and they're mainly using pair wire used to connect all these devices. I sometimes am the one that's responsible for trying to figure this out, but I try to avoid it as much as possible. I hope you enjoyed our brief look at the Terex processing environment. It had the operations area located through a door over here, the equipment area, which is located back through this door to the left, the office area, which is to the right through this door, and the communication area, which is also off to the right. And access is by 3 different doors, and this is a secured environment, and it's been a pleasure processing for Terex at this location.